Welcome to the Decompression Chamber. I'm your host, Andrea, and joining me today is comedian Derek Drescher. Derek, how you doing?
How you doing?
Great,
I'm,
man.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on, man. Really, really excited to get your story. And you're an Army veteran, soldier, so. Uh,
And
but we'll start from the beginning. Where were you born and raised?
I'm from New York, uh, Brooklyn. I've lived all over New York, though. Uh, eh, when I was, my life was pretty regular up until I was about 12 years old,
Yeah.
and then I had a death in the family, and
Oh, wow.
I didn't know how to. My grandmother passed away, and I didn't know how to handle it, so I went off the deep end as
Yeah.
a young man and a young kid and a teenager.
Hmm.
I did spent like 3 years in juvie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and when I turned 18, I had gotten in trouble also, like as a grown, like now as an adult, um, and I made the decision to go into to to try to get out of the trouble by going into the army.
Okay.
That, that
Yeah.
was
Well, and that's something, when we called cadence in boot camp, it was, something, go to war, go to jail. And, I
yeah,
was
so
in,
there was no war happening when I went in, but
okay. But that was still an option. So,
so yeah, 99. It was 1999 when I went into the military.
wow,
And so when you join, you got to go to MEPS and all
of
that stuff.
course.
I remember when I met the recruiter, I told him when I went to the recruiter, I was like, "Listen, I need to get out of New York. I need to get out of New York like now."
Yeah.
I told him about all the things that happened in my life. He's like, "Oh, that's no problem." Like he's like, "We'll get you in."
Oh,
And
good.
then when he took me to MEPS the first time, he told me, "Listen, they're going to ask you if you've ever been in trouble. They're going to ask you, this. They're going to ask you that." He's like, say this. He wanted me to just say I got in trouble one time when
Hmm.
I was trespassing or something like that.
Right, right. Keep it
Yeah,
minimal.
keep it minimal. And when the it was I believe it was a sergeant first class who was asking me the questions at MEPS. I felt like I was getting interrogated, and I broke down. Like I just stopped talking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, no, he went like he was like, I don't think this is gonna work out. And then
Oh, man.
I walked out, and my recruiter was like, I told you what to say.
Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah, you fucked up. And I was like, no, man, I don't want to go back to jail. The way he was asking me questions and everything, and I had to go back again. I waited like another couple months, and
Oh,
I
wow.
I said exactly what he told me to say,
Yeah.
and I got in. You take your physical and all that stuff.
Sure.
Now, I did not have any felonies yet as an adult.
Hmm.
I did have YO charges though, youthful offender.
Right, right.
I get into boot camp. I'm in boot camp or basic training.
Hmm.
I was doing OSUT, one station unit training. I believe it's what it stands for. So I
Okay.
was doing basic
Hmm.
and AIT all in one shot. I wasn't going to basic and then going back. Some people would do it in a split. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right. You did it all in one
I
shot.
did it
Okay.
all in one shot. Uh, but about a month in, or I would say, a few of us got called down to see the lieutenant colonel
Ah, that's always.
because things had come back on our background check.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's about the time that it clears is towards the end of boot camp,
Yeah.
oddly enough. Yeah.
So I remember the drill sergeants telling us, they were like, "Listen, if they can't if you put down numbers and they can't get a hold of people, they can't get a hold of them." Like basically saying,
Right. Wink, wink. There's a lot of
yeah,
winking going on
yeah.
when it comes
And
to the military.
I remember I walked in to the lieutenant colonel's office, and there's a whole there's a ceremony to it. You walk in, you salute, he salutes you, he tells you, at ease, and
Sure.
it was very simple. It wasn't what I thought it was gonna be at all. He basically was like, "Are you ready to be a soldier?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." So
Yeah.
I,
Okay.
I finished basic without a hitch, and I was a 12C, which is a bridge crew member.
Okay.
We
Okay.
built bridges, and then the most fun one we did. I don't know. People could probably look this up too. It's called the float bridge.
Right.
And we used to do another bridge called a medium girder bridge. But the float bridge was cool because you're on the water, you're on a boat, and fucking helicopters, Chinooks are dropping
Yeah.
pieces of the bridge off into the water, and everybody's
Fantastic.
bridging from one side of the river to the next, and then you bring them together in the middle. It was really cool. It was a cool job. I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I, uh, I graduated basic in AIT. Like
Fantastic.
I was in Fort Leonard, Missouri. My
Okay.
family was super proud of me. My parents came to see me.
Oh, that's so
I
cool.
was one of the flag bearers for my platoon.
Yeah. Yeah. The
So
taco grip on the
yeah,
flag.
when they came down, they saw me, and we used to do this like stupid thing. I mean, it was cool. Like when we would go to mess down to the chow hall.
Hmm.
So it was like we had our platoons, like, and then we had like other like section flag bearers, and we would like do this thing where we would be like tick tick boom, and we would make a D for Delta Company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then we would go eat. But yeah, I made it through. It was very strange for me because the life I was living before I went into the military, it was completely different. And I got in
Yeah.
good shape. And I mean, I've been not
Yeah.
in bad shape at all either, but like I was very happy with myself that I had such a problem with authority
Hmm.
my whole life. That was just like I couldn't believe that I had made it through basic,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
That's a great thing.
I got stationed in South Korea.
We're out in South Korea.
Uh the name of the camp, funny enough, was Camp LaGuardia,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
a lot of people, if you're from New York, there used to be a big homeless shelter that they built upstate that they would bus homeless people from the city,
Right.
called Camp LaGuardia in Chester, New York.
Hmm.
So it was just funny to me that the place I was staying was called Camp LaGuardia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Weijambu, I believe, was the name of the city.
Okay.
And
Nice.
Korea was cool at first.
Sure. I mean, it's a foreign country. I mean, especially if you'd never been outside of New York City. I mean, another country entirely just must have been mind blowing.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was good shopping. They had like
Yeah.
a lot of the cool clothes for cheap. I'm pretty sure they were fake now. Looking back at it, it's probably like
Oh,
Canal Street stuff.
yep.
And
Yeah. It's the same anywhere overseas where, oh wow, it's such a steal, and it's like, yeah, it's some corners were cut, but hey, it's
absolutely,
still
absolutely.
fun. Still,
But I mean, everybody we were wilding out. Like everybody had like we'd get these suits made and
yeah, yeah,
fucking and there's quite a nightlife over there
for
uh,
sure.
in Korea, and drinking was big. Like a lot of people, like partying was big. Like the nightlife was big, and of course, this is before I knew I really had any kind of serious drug issue.
Hmm.
Years before I'd ever got involved,
Hmm.
in heroin or anything like that. But I would drink a lot when I was off duty.
Oh
I
yeah.
had, I had this drink called soju,
Okay. What's
which I
what
don't
all's in
know.
that?
I don't. It's like rice alcohol, but people used to say that there was formaldehyde in it and all this
Oh,
in it.
probably.
And I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
how true it is or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean things were going not bad. People liked me. I was one of the few people from New York that was there.
Hmm.
Um, but my geographical changes, you take yourself with you wherever you go.
True.
And
Very true.
eventually my true self started to shine through.
Hmm.
uh, what military bearing I had gained, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was good. Like I'd get up, we do our PT in the morning. Like I knew what my job was. I was decent at my job. It's just when I got off duty, I was an animal. just like a lot of other people. There was a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
young people. You know, it's their first time away from home.
Yeah, yeah.
Now you're basically considered a grown man. You're getting, you get your little bit of money every few weeks. Which for
Yep.
me back then, we're going back. I'm 41 now, so we're going back about over 20 years.
Hmm. Yeah.
This is completely different than the military that anybody has joined as of late. This is a different military.
Yep.
We didn't have the Velcro patches or anything like that. This is regular old
Yep.
uh, BDUs, camouflage. A summer, you had 2 summer sets and you had 2 winter sets.
Yep. It's all you
Um,
needed.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember everything was going very well for a while. I remember we had a field problem. We were on the field, we were bridging, and whenever we would bridge, we would pass the whole most of the Second Infantry Division would pass over. We'd have light infantry walk through, and then mechanized infantry. The tanks and whatnot. And
Yeah.
we were out in the field one time, and there was murmurs. People were like, "Oh, America's been attacked," and I was like, "This is so." I was like, "This is how you guys do shit. This is fucked up."
Yeah. Yeah.
But 9/11 had happened.
Oh wow. Wow.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
then called us on the formation. They were like, "If anybody from New York, come over here." It was me and this other girl. And they had like a satellite phone for us, and we were like trying to call home and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
We couldn't get through,
Oh jeez.
and um, I didn't see I didn't get to see what happened that day because we were in the field for a few more days.
Oh right. Right. Yeah. You're not getting. It's not like
Yeah,
now with just look at your phone and have everything on a loop. It's
yeah. No, there was
so
no
disconnected.
right. And I remember we were on our way back to post. We were going back to base, and we stopped for gas. Or filling. We had Hemmets. A Hemmet is like it's like truck where the cab is in front of the tires. Weird to
Right.
drive it. Very weird to drive it.
Yeah.
But I was filling up, and somebody had like a little TV at
Hmm.
the petrol station, and that's when I saw what happened.
Yeah.
And we I guess we were never. So the MOS I had, which is everybody who watches this knows what like all this stuff means, right?
Yeah, well, and I do like for the YouTube version subtitles, so little definitions here and there if anything, you know, goes beyond a layperson's understanding. So, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I do believe MOS meant military occupational skill.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Or specialty, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, so there was only like 500 of us. We were only in a couple places. We were in Korea, we were in Germany,
Hmm.
and I think Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Of all places, but hey, there's probably a lot of bodies of water that need bridges over them, so
Yeah, I
Louisiana
mean,
seems good.
definitely not much for us. We were never. None of us were ever like we weren't going over. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
and I don't think not a lot of. I don't think a ton of soldiers went over in the beginning. I think there was just a few units that went over
Hmm.
right after it happened. If I'm not mistaken, we also had AFN, the Armed Forces Network.
Yes,
Like,
that's still around.
watching AFN and then getting the paper. I forget what the paper was called too, but if you read this paper,
Stars and Stripes.
yeah, Stars and
Yeah.
Stripes.
Yeah.
You would basically think you're going to war every day. That's
Oh
kind
yeah.
of what it looked like. You know what I mean?
Hey, if it bleeds, it leads applies to
Yeah.
that form of media too. So,
It's like
yeah,
we always had beef with someone. It was China or this. China got one of our planes one time, and they were trying to get information out of it. And
that's right. I remember that.
the
Yeah,
way it, the way we were reading it, it was like, oh, if they don't give us this plane, we're gonna fucking. So that's like
yeah, yeah,
it didn't say that exactly, but that's like the feeling you got. You know what I mean?
for sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, and you don't. I mean, lower enlisted, man, you don't know what's going on. It's oh, geez, I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna do what I'm told. Like, what might I get told? And it's they paint the worst case scenario picture. So if you do get
Yeah.
sent, it's to be expected. If you don't,
So Korea is like a So a lot of people don't know this, or maybe they do know it, that the Korean War is still happening.
Right.
They're not fighting, but it's called it's a ceasefire. I think an it's an armistice. I think it's called. Or no,
Y-
there's an armistice card. So
yeah, yeah, something like that, where it's just kind of a stalemate, kind
yeah,
of
so the
like a
war itself has not been declared over, but it is like it's a ceasefire.
right.
So there's this card they give you that explains that, and you like keep it, you keep
Yeah,
it on. So I guess it could be a little like we did a lot more alerts. So we used to have alerts where the fucking sirens go off, and you got to be full battle dress uniform and ready to roll,
yeah.
like in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we would go to the field, and sometimes we would just do it. It would just, we would just do alerts.
Yeah.
So after 9/11 happened, we were doing a lot more of that stuff, and we were doing a lot more field problems. We were like, we were training hard. It was looking like,
Sure.
it was looking like possible. They want us to really know how to do our jobs in case we have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And my unit was in a convoy that ran over two Korean children.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they got crushed by a armored personnel carrier. Like I
Oh
wasn't in that
jeez.
vehicle or anything like that, but
Yeah.
it was my division during a field problem we were on, and
Oh man.
yeah, they couldn't tell, the parents couldn't tell which kid was which. That's how bad they were.
Holy shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's horrifying.
Now I believe the Korean, I don't know if it was the Korean government or Korean law enforcement, they wanted the driver of that vehicle.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. No, incidents like that in foreign countries is, oh boy. I mean, you think that's something like that happening stateside is bad? I mean, it is a total diplomatic nightmare
Right.
when it happens overseas, for sure.
Right. And the our general, I believe the general of our division, he was a major general.
Hmm.
His name was Russell Honore. He was from Louisiana. Now he also had later on in life, after he left the military, he was I forget who he was. Somebody big in Louisiana during Katrina.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
he had something to do with like the aftermath of Katrina. I mean, obviously, I don't think it was anybody's fault, but
Yeah.
when these so the army would not give up the driver. They said, we will discipline
Smart.
him ourselves. We're
Right.
not going to turn him over to anybody.
Yeah.
That pissed them off.
Of course. Makes
And
sense.
then none of our brass, our leaders, our leadership went to the funeral.
Oh.
And that pissed them off even more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And um, there was a lot of protesting
Of
or
course.
rioting, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, American military presence in South Korea at this point, well, it's been resented for several decades, and it was incidents like this that just kind of ratcheted it up. And
I used to, a lot of the locals who didn't deal with us regularly, because there's money to be made off of young soldiers,
for sure, for sure,
food, drinking,
yeah.
I hate to
Especially
say
the
it,
drinking. Yep.
prostitution. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? There was a lot of clubs like that around the base where, like, they would have these, the women who worked at the clubs were called drinking girls.
Hmm.
Or to talk to the girl, you would have to buy them a drink, which was usually like
Yep.
orange juice or something like that. And
Right.
these guys would buy these girls orange juice all night to sit and talk with them.
Hmm. Yep.
And then, like, I guess if you wanted, you could pay to get the woman the night off, and then you take her for the evening. And where do you bring her? I don't know. I
Yeah.
figure probably to a hotel or something like that.
Yeah.
But there was a
Makes
lot of
sense.
guys going broke,
Yep.
doing that shit. But anybody who like was outside of like the immediate, like I read, further out of the base, they looked like they didn't like us.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of them wouldn't even like want to look us in the face, or if we spoke to them, they would just they would keep it pushing. You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean?
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so all these protests are happening, and I remember I had to buy some underwear one day.
Hmm.
I remember I went to the mall. The mall in Wijambu was like underground.
Okay.
We got to go down. It was pretty cool. We used to run in there in the morning sometimes too when we would do our PT. And I had my headphones in. I had a Discman. This is how long ago it was. I
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
a CD player on my hip, you
Yeah.
know, and
Well, and I mean, that was advanced too. Like it wasn't a Walkman; it was a Discman.
it was a
The
Discman.
latest form of
I was
media.
listening to I'll never forget this day. I was listening to the Bubba Sparks album. Bubba Sparks was a white rapper from Athens, Georgia, and he had the song called "Ugly" that was produced by Timberland. It was the jam.
Yeah.
It was the jam, and I remember listening to it. I went and bought my boxers, and
Yeah.
I'm on my way back to base, and I walked right into a protest.
Oh
Not paying attention.
crap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they were pissed, and I got physically assaulted very bad by those students.
Oh man.
Yeah, and they I don't know if you ever been to Korea or no.
I have not. You know, they've got Navy bases there. My dad, he was in
Yeah.
the Army years ago. He was over there, but never had the pleasure. But
So the alleys in Korea are super narrow,
hmm.
but they're like you can get around. Like I learned them very well. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
And this big crowd chasing me after they had just pummeled me. I mean, fucking beat the shit out of me really bad.
Oh jeez.
They're chasing me, and I'm like I just gotta get into the alley so I could get back. Like, and that big group is not going to be able to.
Yeah, yeah, it creates a choke point to your advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm smoking it through there, double timing.
Yeah. Quadruple timing, whatever you got
Yeah.
to do. Yeah.
I get back to base. I'm like, fucking open the gate. And I don't know if I started this, but not very long afterwards, there was an alert called, and they were at our gates
Oh
at Camp
man.
Laguardia.
Oh boy.
So now they started to, so another big camp that was by us was Camp Red Cloud,
Hmm.
and they were also protesting out in front of there. And the KMPs came, the Korean military police, and they like have like wooden like cops in New York. Oh no, and I don't even know if they have nightsticks in New York anymore. Actually, I think they have those extendo
Expandable batons. Yeah.
batons, yeah. But the KMPs had like these wooden swords.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The Korean military police, and I remember they just like came and they beat the shit out of everybody.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, it was a sight that kind of like threw me back into like old school mode to where.
Well, yeah. Confronted with violence, what's going to be your answer? I mean, the armies is fill out paperwork and report it up the chain of command. That's not going to help you in any sort of immediately violent scenario.
Right.
You're going to go back to what you know.
I fell apart.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I wish I'd done better. I really do.
Hmm.
I think I was in for over a year, and after that I just I was drinking a lot, and I wasn't listening. I remember we were like in the field again one this and there's Humvees going back to base, and I just
Hmm.
hopped in the Humvee.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, but that temptation is there for everyone,
Yeah,
and
right. So this is the
everyone's got
fucked
their
up part.
breaking point.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
look like a shitbird to everybody right now.
yeah.
I
That's all right.
I had my weapon with me. Now I'm not even thinking. It's just so. I'm looking back. I'm like, this is very bad.
Yeah.
We get back to my barracks. I shower in in my room in the barracks and by myself. I don't even know what the hell I planned on doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now they're missing a soldier and his weapon.
Yeah. That's a huge deal.
It's very, very, very big deal. So it's not AWOL, absent without leave, but
Right.
I miss the movement,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is which
S-
is
some article under the UCMJ. I mean,
oh
it's
yeah, big
yeah.
big trouble, big trouble.
Yeah.
And given like all that, and I was uh I was basically asked to leave politely. They politely asked me to leave.
Okay.
So I was chaptered out.
Wow.
Yeah, under honorable conditions.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a full honorable now. Um,
Good. Good.
After it took a little while, given the incident I had with the protesting students.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, because that's a major precipitating factor. And did chain of command address that at all? That you were beaten, or it was just kind of like, well, we got to kind of calm things down. Maybe we'll get to it. I mean, what was their
I'll be
response?
honest with you. They seemed super pissed that the protest in front of the gates happened because they're basically like,
Yeah.
you fucking brought him here. I'm like, dude, everybody knows where the camp is.
Yeah, it's not like it's Area 51. I mean,
Yeah,
they
we're
know.
like dead in the middle of the city. It's
Yeah.
like you have a city, and then all of a sudden this big gate, and then we had guards.
Yeah.
So yeah, no one really like checked in on me that much. I wasn't really upset about that or anything though either. It's just that to me, I wish it would have ended different.
Right. Right.
I have the full honorable now, but I wish I would have at least completed my first
Hmm.
uh full term because my uncle was a veteran,
Hmm.
Vietnam. My grandfather was in World War II. Both of them are decorated.
Yeah.
They're also both infantry. I was a bridge crew member.
Yeah.
It's not like I had wanted to go to war. I wasn't like hoping for anything like that, but
Sure.
my life up until that point, I'd been in so much troubles. Like maybe I could salvage something
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
out of this to make myself like an honorable human being. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't. I fucked it up. Which listen, I've done like I go to therapy quite a bit. I've done a lot of work, and there's
That's
so many
great.
guys that have way worse things have happened to them in the military than what happened to me. So
Yeah. And that's definitely true, and it might help with perspective, but at the same time, just because someone had it worse doesn't mean you had it good either.
yeah, yeah,
So, you know, we only, as much as we try to look at it from other people's point of view, I mean, ours is kind of what's important because that's what we're immediately dealing with. Um, so no, that's a tough deal. I mean, I never, you know, luckily never had any really serious run-ins with locals. Like the only overseas post I had was Bahrain.
hmm
It's basically like a Nevada border town. I
right,
mean, in
right.
terms of the alcohol and hookers and everything. But uh, yeah, so I was very fortunate, but I mean, yeah, you do deal with stuff, and looking back, like you say, I mean, it's a totally different time of your life, and you don't have like that strong foundation or perspective that you do when you're older, and you look back at certain things and you just shudder and like, oh man, like
Yeah, I
that
mean,
could have gone way
when I say
bad.
I fell apart after that, I fell apart. Like I was drinking heavily, uh,
Well,
fighting really, and there was like they ended up when things got a little more serious. They stopped serving. Like there was like no more alcohol. We became dry,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we were on there's we weren't, and then we were armed when we were pulling guard duty. We were armed.
for sure.
I was so what's the word I'm looking for? When you can't like when someone's like a wild card, what's the word? They
Uh,
shit.
I'm
They
I'm sure anyone listening is screaming it right now, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh
uh,
they were like he is
loose
too
cannon.
I was yeah, like loose cannon is like I remember some the first sergeant said it to me. It's like, we don't know. We're like, he was like, we like you.
Yeah.
We know, like, you're good. You're a good, you're a good soldier, but you're on, like, we don't know. He's like, we don't know what you do. I wish I fucking remembered the word. It'll
Yeah.
come to me. It'll come to me. But
Yeah.
he was like, let me get you, when I was, they started the paperwork to get me out. He was like, let me get you out of here alive. Because
Smart.
I was just, that was when a lot of my, I guess, after that happened with the students, it like kicked some other things up into gear for me. You know what I mean? As
Sure.
far as like, drinking wet, and I wasn't allowed to to have my weapon anymore, especially after that.
Yeah.
The When I missed the movement and all that. So I wish I would have went out different. I wish I would have, but there's nothing I could do about it now.
Right.
I'm still in
Right.
contact with some of the guys I was in with.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we see each other on Instagram and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and but yeah, no, I have my medical now, which is good because I had some hearing problems also from when we used to, from being
Oh.
around the helicopters.
Oh yeah. I mean, hearing
And
loss is almost a given.
yeah,
To,
everybody gets it.
you know,
Yep.
like they give you the hearing test at MEPS, and then they give it to you as you're processing out too, and I'm sure they dial up the decibels,
Yeah.
just to kind of compensate for the inherent hearing loss you're gonna have
So
doing.
they used to have these really shitty earplugs.
They
And
still have shitty earplugs. They just made them different colors.
I mean, they would slide right out of your ear, especially if you were sweating.
Yeah, oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? If they got a little loose, they'd slide right out. And if you're like in the middle of fucking like, it, I got to tell you, like doing your job in the military with everybody like moving as one and fucking, you're being this cohesive fucking team.
Yeah.
And you're doing some cool shit
Yeah.
that like regular people don't get to do. It's like my earplug, fuck you,
Yeah.
I'm I'm working, you
I
know what
got
I mean?
something bigger than me is going on for sure.
Right, right. So I didn't give a shit that my earplugs fell out. But now I could like barely hear out of my left ear.
Oh, well, and it's that's the other thing is you're working on something. It's not like your hands are probably full, so it's not like you got time to like push it back into your head as you feel it slipping or anything else. So it's fuck it. We'll get through this. We'll get to the next thing, and
Yeah.
that's
Especially when we used to build the MGB, which I don't even think they use anymore. I think they have a way better bridge now.
mhm.
MGB was a medium girder bridge. I can't tell you what a girder is or any of that shit, but we used to put them together piece by piece,
Okay.
and we had these carrying bars, and some of these pieces weighed 600 pounds, 400 pounds. I think one of them might have weighed eight. I don't remember completely. But you
Mhm.
put your carrying bar in, and then we would have this lay ho heave call. Lay ho heave. We'd lift with our knees. We'd pick it up. Sometimes we'd have to, and
Press
then
it. Oh
we'd
shit.
lock it in, and then there'd be a pin guy. A guy would come with this huge pin, and he'd slide the pin in.
Holy
And
crap.
yeah, so you're fucking running around doing cool shit like that, and fucking there's helicopters here, and this is happening over there. Like,
Yeah.
you don't care. You just keep rocking. What are
Yeah.
you gonna do? Fucking get off your carrying bar because your fucking
Yeah.
ear flipped out?
Excuse me. Training time out. Yeah.
Like, oh
No,
yeah,
we got a
put it down,
mission.
guys.
Yeah, it's just not
The
how it
guy,
works.
the guy that taught us, like when I was in AIT, the guy that like taught us like the bridge, all like he was teaching us how to bridge. He was teaching us that day specifically about the medium girder bridge. He was a Vietnam vet,
Oh
and
damn.
so when we would like when we were building and we would pick up the part of the bridge, he would tell us like how much it costed,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
much the cost of the piece, and then like he was like yelling out like the life expectancy for like 12 C's in Vietnam and shit, and it was
Damn.
wild. He was like hyping us up though. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think in combat, like during a build, I think the life expectancy, he said it was 13 seconds. I don't know if it's true. I don't know.
It seems well, and especially if you're such a small community to begin with, that seems
Yeah,
Yeah, a little
at that
short.
time, yeah, yeah. Very I mean, think about it though, if you are we would build with like, with our rifles on our backs.
Oh, right, right, yeah. Guys
If
are like
you're
Seabees, yeah.
if you yeah, and if you're like picking up you I mean you are a sitting duck. If you're just
Oh yeah, you're not shooting back. That
if
rifle's
you're
just sitting
holding
there
like a
too.
couple 100 pounds, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, like
good luck.
I I'm definitely happy for my time in uh you know, some of my family was very proud of me.
Yeah, oh for
Um,
sure.
and some of my family was very upset with me when they found out why I was that I did not finish my first term. Not many people know what like the story I just told you, like what happened
Hmm.
and all that stuff. Well, yeah, I wish I would have finished stronger. Nothing I could do about it now, but I'm happy for the time that I had in. I will say this though,
Hmm.
that the military is an institution,
Yes.
much like the institutions I was in before I went into the military.
I
There is a structure.
I do hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Jail or prison is very much like the military, and I I've experienced one, not the other, but it definitely seems believable to me.
Yeah, like if you were in jail and then so a lot in New York, there's a couple boot camp, you know, prisons.
Hmm.
Uh one is called they call it damn, what the hell do they call it? There's a place called was it Lakeview for parole violators, drugs.
Hmm.
It's basically like a 3 month boot camp. It's like a 90-day. You go there for when you violate, and it's run by ex military drill sergeants.
Oh, great. Okay.
And then there's another program. Yeah, what's the name of that program? The boot camp program that they send you to? Willard. Oh, Willard. Yeah, Willard is one with Shock.
Shock.
They
Name
call it
says it
Shock.
all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Willard and Shock. Yeah, Willard is for parole violators, and Shock is for like first time offenders usually, right?
Okay.
Yeah, under 3 years, and it's usually non-violent drug offenses.
Okay.
Yeah, non-violent period, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a couple of those that and they're run by
Yeah.
by ex-military. But like
Ooh.
even regular like and even I've only done been incarcerated on the East Coast, but I heard
Hmm.
West Coast prison is very very militant as far as how it
Interesting.
goes. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I guess you really do have to have that structure, uh, and that hierarchy. I mean, whether it's like the bureaucratic hierarchy of what the COs are telling you, but also there's the hierarchy of the other inmates. I imagine, um,
Yes, yeah, all
just
that.
as just as one would find in the military. So
I bet you if I would have went in a little bit older, it would have been different. Because like I
for
said,
sure.
until I like fell off the deep end, I was actually very good. Like I was up, PT,
Yeah.
shower, have my chow, do my job, get off duty. A lot of people don't know this. Like if peaceful stuff is going on and um you're not in training, you're not like training to do your job, your day in the military is actually
Hmm.
pretty light.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Not a
is.
not a bad day. You're done by like 2 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really not that bad.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
memories. Awesome. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, I mean, you get out and so as you'd mentioned while you're in 9/11 happened, how long were you in post 9/11?
A few months. A
Okay.
few months. I was definitely. I was in my unit. We'll say I did basic. I did AIT. And then you take a little bit of leave and then you go back. I was
Yeah.
probably on my regular unit for like a month when 9/11 happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. Real
yeah,
quick.
real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, real
Damn.
quick. Yeah.
Um
To,
okay.
to, and to be, I, looking back at it now, to be like chaptered out while we were about to go to war.
Yeah. Kind of Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But so yeah, I ended up getting out. I got out with under honorable conditions,
Hmm.
not dishonorable.
Right.
Which I and I when I came back to New York, it was a wrap. I spent a lot of the next 12 years, in and out of incarceration,
Hmm.
and eventually very very bad on opiates,
Oh man.
and yeah, and I didn't get my shit together until I went into a veterans program. It was
Oh.
for veterans that had like some mental health issues
Hmm.
and substance abuse issues, and some who were like chronically homeless, which happens to a lot of veterans.
For sure.
And that's when I ended up. The veterans program ended up getting me in with the VA. They were hooked me up with the VA.
Great.
I had the hearing loss, and that got me into the VA system. And then
Good.
you know, I was able to speak about what happened with the students
Hmm.
when they during that protest, and because that I guess I never really realized how much that shook me up. I was never really the same around crowds ever again after that.
Oh, yeah. That's a
Yeah,
horrifying experience.
right.
Just to have just a wall of people and close in on you like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and yeah. I've been and then they had me in some work programs, and I I did some engineering in one of the VA hospitals.
Oh,
What
awesome. Using
and
some of your 12C experience for that,
yeah,
or
just fucking
a little bit.
taking old urinals off the wall and putting new ones on.
Hey, whatever
No, but
works.
it was good. It was good. I was working, and then I ended up using that program to I got a job. 'Cause, I'm clean by then.
Hmm. Good for you.
Got a
That's
job.
that's a huge feat.
Yeah, got a job in the Marriott doing engineering also, which is like I don't know why they call it engineering. It should just be like maintenance. That should
Uh,
be.
well, yeah. I mean, maintenance. Maintain, keep things even keel. But I
Yeah,
mean, if you're installing stuff, yeah,
yeah. It
bump
was
that
just
up to
also
engineer. We got to put shit on a resume, people.
and I did control quite a few big expensive pieces of machinery. That's not like easy to use. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, getting hooked back in with you know Veterans Affairs and Veterans Administration, like really it got me back on track.
That's fantastic. How did you get into that?
Into the VA.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
I
what
went
was?
to this program. It was a Samaritan Village Veterans Program.
Okay.
So the thing with the Samaritan Village Veterans Program is they get funding from the VA, but it's not a VA program,
Right,
right?
right.
And then they would have like liaisons come, because some of the guys literally did like 1 month in the military and like fucking got kicked out. Samaritan would take you,
Okay.
but your chances of getting hooked up with the VA is they're not. You can't do that. So after they like looked at my how long I was in, and
Mhm.
my my health records, my medical records.
Yeah.
Like we might be able to do something with you, even though you were shitbird. We'll see if we can.
Yeah,
We'll
but
see if
that's
we can
great.
figure something out. Yeah, and then yeah, that's I got hooked. Like I said, I first got in through my hearing, and then I went to like the mental health program, and then spoke about what happened with
That's great.
with the students, and then they got me. Yeah, I mean, I'm like some proper medications that I needed to be on at the time. I'm not on any medications right now anymore. And then they got me into the work program,
Oh,
which,
that's
well, I
fantastic.
forget what it was called, but I was doing engineering in St. Albans, Queens,
Mhm.
which is where my uncle was after he got shot up in Vietnam. He had to learn how to walk all over again
Wow.
over there. Yeah,
That's wild.
yeah, and you know what? My uncle was super. He passed away now. God rest his soul. He
Mhm.
was super proud of me when I was working at St. Albans, because St. Albans, it's not like like no military or no like VA facility is. You see some stuff sometimes when you're over there. A lot of
Oh, yeah.
injuries and a lot of mental health stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my uncle was proud of me that I was working over there. He's like, hey, you take as good care of those guys as you can. You know what I mean? Because you fixing stuff for them, some
Yeah.
of those guys, it's the last place they're going to be.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not going. They're not going anywhere after that. They're going to pass away there.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah. That's
I was
a
able to do
big
my
thing.
job good. I definitely did not like my fucking supervisor while I was there. He was a real fucking jerk off. He
Yeah.
hated me.
uh, well, yeah, I guess into every life a little rain must fall, but yeah,
But it came back. It came back full circle. You know.
that's great.
Yeah. You know. I still. The VA still. I'm still. I still go. Like I got my vaccine there. I got my booster there.
Same here.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I go for my checkup every once in a while to so
Yeah, I mean that's a huge thing, having the VA and you know, I got enrolled in it not that long after I got out of the military and, you know, or off active duty and they've operated on both my ankles when I was drunk and hiking and drunk and crossing a street and broke them.
oh man,
and
goddamn.
I mean they did a bang up job, they and then the last ankle I broke, I was visiting Utah and I had to come back to New York, and it's like, oh yeah, it's medical record, all that stuff's electronic. Like, just go to another VA. I mean, they do. My experience has been pretty good, and it sounds like yours as
Yeah.
well. They're
Tell them
taking
your
care of
name
you.
and your last four, and you're good to go.
Yeah,
You're good,
what could be simpler?
yeah, you're good to
Um,
go. It was about 12 years since I'd had any contact or any involvement. So the fact that I think Obama too at that time was really pushing
mhm.
for veterans to get whatever assistance they needed, be it
Yeah,
medical, mental health stuff at that time. So
no, it's
I think he did well with that. I think I'm not completely sure.
yeah. Well, and certainly from your experience, I mean, it seems to ring true, and that's important because, especially the mental health aspect. I mean, it's just I don't know if it's because it's more of like a chronic care type thing that the VA gets a bad rap, and the failures, see the failures happen. I
Yeah,
I've had good luck with it as well. Maybe I got lucky, but
yeah,
I certainly count my blessings.
yeah. My
Um,
uncle and my grandfather both also too were treated very well at
Good.
the VA. My grandfather, I believe he passed away in a veterans hospital, but
Mm.
they had him as comfortable as he could be.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then my
Good.
and then my uncle is fucking wild though. I mean, the guy, both his legs broke by shrapnel
Holy shit.
in Vietnam. He said he woke up when he flew in the air, and then I guess he went back. He got knocked back out when he hit the ground after they got hit. But when
Wow.
he was very upset that he had to get out. Right,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
100% service connected.
Mhm.
He sent all the checks back
Holy shit. Yeah,
and wrote and
that's a
told him
wild
that
man.
he didn't need it because he was fine.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
wild.
yeah, he's a wild. He was a wild boy. He was
So
definitely a wild boy.
so what I mean, obviously if he's 100% service connected, it's not like the military's taking him back. What did he do
He
after the
was
military?
upset that he tried from my father told me from what I understand he was pissed that they were telling him listen thank you for your service. I mean he was by the time he got out he was a ranger, he was a sergeant.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
That's a
he and
that's a badass.
he wanted to stay in. It was tight that they told him he had to leave, and so he became a cop, and then he became a fireman.
God damn.
Yeah, he was badass.
Yeah.
He
I
was he was like what I would call back in the day. I would call these firemen. I used to call them strokers. You know what I mean? But in the New York area, it's a little different. You know what I mean? When he
yeah.
passed away, there was fucking fire trucks for as long. They came from like everywhere to
Oh,
fucking
I'm
send
sure.
him off. Yeah, they loved him. They loved my uncle George. He was the man. He was was that He was an All-American. Is that 82nd Airborne?
Yeah, yeah.
101st is the Screaming Eagles, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was All-American.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a wild man right there, and like you said,
Yeah, that was so
danger and everything
crazy. My
else.
father said he would send every check back, and then he would he wrote a letter saying that I'm fine, I don't need this. Stop
Damn.
sending stop sending money.
That's wow.
Hey
That is
man,
impressive.
each his own.
Yeah, yeah. Good on him. But
Yeah,
that's fantastic. And then he
yeah.
was the one, like you're saying, he was recovering in St. Albans where you later worked.
That's
And
where he
okay,
recovered from Albans.
wow,
They used to go pick him up on the weekends. It was
yeah,
like he had to he was off his feet for a while, so he had to learn how. He was there for months.
oh yeah,
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 he had to learn how to walk again. But they would send the ambulance from the neighborhood and go pick him up
yeah.
and bring him back home on the weekends, and then to bring him back
Oh, that's cool.
during the week. Yeah,
Wow,
till he was fully healed. Yeah,
that's fucking great, man.
yeah, yeah.
Great story.
Yeah.
So so then life continues. You're working at the Marriott, but how did you get into comedy?
Comedy, I got into a long time ago. Back in the day, I would do these. The fuck do they call these stupid shows? You do
Bringer, open mic.
No, well, it was more than that. It was like a talent show.
Okay.
I used to do impressions back in the day, which
Okay.
I don't do anymore.
Hmm.
I used to do like voices, and I did like a Caribbean character. I did like an Indian character, like from the country India
Yeah, yeah,
and shit like that. And then obviously I let it go once I was wayward youth,
yeah.
and the I ended up coming back around into comedy. I think about when I was 36.
Okay.
When I was 36, I started. I hit a mic here, I hit a mic there.
Yeah.
I didn't really know how to do it right. I had some friends that were also comics who were like already dug in, but like I
Yeah.
was never like, oh, I want to do this, or anything like that. It wasn't.
Yeah.
They weren't like my inspiration to do it. It's not like I saw my friends doing it and I was like, oh, I could do, like, I never went to go see them or anything like that. Always been a big fan of comedy though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my times when I was incarcerated, I used to make the guys laugh a lot, which goes a long way in the joint.
Yes, it has to. Yeah.
Yeah. And I started to write jokes, and I went on my friend's podcast. It was a pretty big podcast,
Mhm.
and we were just having such a good conversation. Everybody was laughing. I was laughing. They were laughing.
Yeah.
And then she said to me, she's like, "You should, if you want to, I think you should try comedy."
Oh, that's awesome.
Then I'd start like I hit some mics. I would go to like 1 to 2 mics a week, which is, you're not doing it right when you do it like that. And then I started doing like a one bringer show a month,
Hmm.
and it was going well. I had some I had some very good sets, and then so in about like a year and a half, almost 2, when the pandemic happened.
Oh yeah.
And I just really missed doing it, and I started running an illegal show.
Perfect.
And
Those are the best shows, man. Someone's backyard or whatever. Like, let's do it.
We were doing an indoor illegal one, but
Yeah.
it got me connected with some comics, and I realized how often I could go up a month, like, because there was a lot of outdoor mics.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of Zoom shows and shit too, and then like doing all that stuff just gets you stronger.
Yeah.
And
Practice.
by the time everything started to break and we were doing indoors, like, I met Gio,
Awesome.
Gio Perez, and like fucking, we really push each other.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And
you guys are one hell of a team.
yeah, I think if we didn't meet each other, we'd both still be not. No one would know who we are.
Speak for yourself.
Fuck you. We get into these things. It's like, if you didn't meet me, you'd still be doing an alleyway in Queens right now,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you'd be doing a rooftop in Bushwick, which
exactly.
we're still doing anyway. But
Yeah,
we were running the show. We got our show in the stand.
that's
And
awesome.
given like our, both of us, I guess, got started later in life,
Hmm.
but given our experience,
Yeah,
things we've been through, and like just our age, we're able to progress a little more quickly.
yeah,
Because younger comedians don't even know who they are.
right, right.
I'm not trying to say anything bad about them. They're just still trying to figure out their voice.
Yeah, they're
All this
it's what
shit.
young people are doing across the board, whether they're comedians or not, trying to
Yeah,
figure it out. Yeah.
I could talk about my regular life. I could talk about my mental health stuff. I could talk about the military. I could talk about, being incarcerated. I could talk about, being a drug addict. I could just have this whole outlook
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
things. And we both just got passed at the stand recently. So,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
moving right along, you know.
That's great.
Gio got passed at like 3 clubs
Holy shit. That's
past month.
awesome.
This fucking motherfucker.
Told you I'm known in these streets.
Shut the fuck up.
That's awesome, man. That's fucking
So,
great.
comedy's going great. Like I've got, I just remember. I'm not like. I don't want to say like I'm lost on any of this stuff, or like, it's like you make headway, you start to meet people. It's super cool for us that we're at Gas so much,
Oh
But
yeah. Yeah, love seeing you guys. It's like, oh, Derek and Gio today? Oh yeah. Like it's gonna
yeah,
be a great show. Doesn't matter what they put you on.
you
Yeah.
guys are great. It's just
Oh,
it's
thank
cool.
you.
It's very cool. Just for a couple. For a guy that got kicked out of the military, and
Yeah.
who's also a
Yeah.
junkie. Fucking a lot of people who get kicked out of the military, things don't go too well for them
Oh
after
yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah, no, that's a tough deal to bounce back from, but fuck man, you
It's
did it.
almost like having a record.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean you've certainly rebounded from both, and that's a great story and a great message. I
Yeah.
mean, we hit bottom points, whatever in our lives, like, oh man, how am I ever coming back from this?
Yeah.
I've had a couple of those, and it's like I never thought I'd be doing the crap I'm doing now. Having a great time. It's,
Yeah.
you know, it's worth it
So
if
I
you're willing
don't.
to persevere.
If anyone, for anyone that listens to this, yeah, like I was definitely a shitbird. It was very bad, but I wasn't bad the whole time, and I just had some things happen, and I have a lot of respect for the guys I was in, the men and women I was in with, and some of the relationships I still have to this day,
That's
and
awesome.
I have respect for anybody that. Just think about it, you're so young when you take that oath. You
Yeah.
don't you don't know what the fuck you're doing, really.
No, no. And that's the funny thing is everyone I've talked to, you'd think if you're going to sign away X number of years of your life, you've really thought about it, weighed out the pros and cons across the board. Not the case for anyone I've ever spoken to. It was like, yeah, I got nothing going on. Let's see what happens,
And then
and there you
saying it,
go.
to defend against any enemies, foreign or domestic. That's some gangster shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
That, that
Holy
is some
crap.
gangster shit to say. And a lot of people, some people do it because there's nothing going on where they live, and other people do it because their family was in. It's like a tradition for everybody to go on, and other people
Yeah.
do it, just because they love this country, and
Yeah.
I have respect. It's like boxers. I have respect for any boxer that steps in the ring.
Yeah.
And people may say, "Oh, this guy's never been tested." It's like somebody somewhere tried to take his head off. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel this. I have a respect for comedians who, a certain respect is the fact that you would go up and try to make a room full of people laugh that you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also have respect for anybody that will will take that oath and join the military. You know what I mean?
For sure.
it's not a light thing.
No, no. I mean, there's huge anything where there's a huge potential for failure, whether like you mentioned, military trying to make a crowd of strangers laugh.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, that's that's a scary thing, and there's people who have balls to do it, and yeah, my respect to them as well. Amazing
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
well, get to our parting words and then plugs. But do you have any advice for someone who's thinking about joining the military?
Yeah, if you want to join, join, and just don't do what I did. Don't do what I
Eloquent.
did. Hopefully there's nothing. There's no war happening. You don't want to see anybody go to war.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean? So much stuff we've seen over these past freaking 20 years. But if you want to join, join. It's good.
Yeah,
You'll learn a lot of stuff. You'll have structure. You'll form these great relationships with people. Because you learn it's not just always it's about the person next to you. You know,
yeah, yeah,
and you learn how to work in a team, and you see some really cool stuff in the military. It's different. A lot of people just will never experience like that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
it sounds funny coming from me, but the people who join the military from this country, you're like the cream of the crop. You fucking,
Yeah,
you're taking this oath and putting yourself out there. And if you get through your first unit and your first stint, your first 2 years or 4 years or three, whatever they're signing people up for now, you could go get
yeah,
an education and all that shit. So,
yeah, yeah.
I would say if anybody wants to join, they should join, and just, and be a good soldier, be a good sailor, be a good airman, be a good Marine, whatever, be a good Coast Guard. I don't
Yeah, Coasty. I
Yeah.
mean, well, if you don't really want to join the military, no.
But
Love the
yeah,
Coasties.
I'm happy for the time I was in. I
Awesome.
don't, yeah, and yeah, yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on, and anything that you want to plug. Geo and you have a podcast, right? And then
We
you
have a
guys are at the
podcast
stand.
called On the Gate. Two ex-cons turned comedians, or two jailbirds turned jokesters. I like that one too. We have a show at the stand called 23 and One Comedy. So yeah, follow On the Gate podcast at On the Gate on Instagram. Follow 23 and One Comedy. That's our show. We do a monthly at the stand. We'll be there. When's this come out?
This will be coming out in 6 hours.
Oh, really? Oh
Yeah.
shit. So come on Tuesday. Come on July 19th.
All right. All right. Yeah. And
Um,
for anyone listening on YouTube, it's all the links are going to be in the description, and not
awesome.
exactly totally sure how podcasts work, but I'll put all the information in there as well, so people can check it out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Derek. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and hopefully see you at Gas soon.
Yes, I'll see you around. Take care.
All right. Bye.